Welcome to the Business Spotlight Podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host up for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Jimmy Rowland, co-owner of Helix Physical Therapy and Chiropractic, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his business, his journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that he's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome, Jimmy. So great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
Nice to meet you, and thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, before we dive into all things business, I'd
hmm
love to learn a little bit about you. So take us back as far as you want and share a bit about yourself.
so I'm originally from Ohio. I actually moved out to Texas with being a part of a company that purchased a performance facility up in Fort Worth, Texas. It's called APEC. It's a high-end performance company. It's where Patrick Mahomes did all like grew up, did all his training and stuff like that. So the group I was a part of went through, purchased it. They relocated me out to this Texas area. I was there for, a good about a year and a half, 2 years, and ended up, things kind of moved fast. We ended up learning a ton of different things, and then me and my business partner, we kind of got together. He was a coworker of mine at the time. His name is Jordan Tittle, and we ended up, developing a great relationship and then had something special between each other. And then we ended up deciding to move down to the Austin area and, come down here and just start up a business randomly. We had zero connections, knew absolutely no one, no network, no anything. And just came down here and, got together. We actually moved our families into one single house together and then grinded every single day and then able to build out a company that we have of our own.
That is so cool. And that is such a business on like entrepreneurship story is like,
Right.
the sacrifice to like go in on it together, grind it out. That's totally how businesses are born sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. The way that we kind of like strategized around it, we're like, we'll be around each other 24/7. We want to kill each other 24/7, but we'll be able to move really, really fast, because the communication is going to be there. And like as a partnership, it definitely taught us a lot about who we are as in business and then even as people, because I didn't know him very long prior to making that decision, but it always felt right. And then going through that experience with them, it definitely set us up to, grow like a brotherly bond, and then really trust each other with everything that we have. We pretty much share everything, and then, we kind of do everything together and really put efforts to, counteract one each other when we have something else going on, in life or whatever. So we try to be very cohesive to each other.
That's a huge, I think that's like a huge like mindfulness,
hmm
part of business building, especially with a partner involved. So thank you for sharing that. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, when was the company founded? Did you say what year?
It was 2023, basically January 1. We moved down here like and got here December like 29th, moved into our house, went out, had a big dinner with him and our wives, and then next day pretty much got to it.
That's
Yeah.
wild, especially moving. That's in winter in Ohio, correct? It's like,
Yeah, well, I was in Texas at the time. We both were. We were in Fort Worth.
okay, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you didn't have that cold move at least. Um,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so now you and he are co-owners. Is there any other part of like the ownership structure, any sort of team involved there, or what does that look like for you?
No, we pretty much, we're 50/50 owners on it. There's no outside investment, no anything. We just, liquidated our investment accounts and put it together and went crazy.
That works. And now, I'd love to learn a little bit more about the why behind your business. Like, what kind of inspired that big decision? And then, what was your why behind doing it?
Yeah, I guess what and kind of inspired our big decision, we saw a great opportunity. Like we ended up coming down to this area to kind of see it. Like I said, I'm not from Texas, so I didn't even know Austin and the West Austin area looked as pretty as it does. So we ended up coming down here and kind of vetting the communities around us, kind of seeing some of the competition, understanding the sports scene because we primarily are catered more to athletes and active adults for our company. And we just saw that without in the Lakeway community that something was kind of missing, more of a higher end, high skilled service that we kind of provide. And we kind of like looked at each other and it's like a no doubter and no brainer that we have to go try it. And the worst case fails, we'll just go do something else, I guess. So we ended up just, taking a big swing, and luckily it kind of paid off.
That's really cool. Sometimes if that's what it takes is just going for it, like making the leap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you mentioned your clientele is primarily athletes, or is that kind of like where you're going? Can you kind of describe your ideal client?
Yeah, we kind of like, our target audience more is the youth, high school, college athlete. We work with professional athletes and everything like that. So that always helps from like the marketing side. But we really put a lot of investment back into our communities with the youth programs. So we do a lot of things, a lot of partnerships with, youth football teams, youth baseball teams, and we're really involved with the Lakeway community out here with Lake Travis, Vandergrift, or even some of the Westlake area. But yeah, our target is definitely more of the youth athletes. Like I made a Instagram reel about this, and like one of the main things is like me and my business partner has both had experience, working at the professional level, working with some of the greatest athletes on this planet and giving them that service. And when we kind of really put it together, him and I always had this group of high school kids that we worked with in the evenings. And even though we would go through, get a chance to, work with Patrick Mahomes, work with all these other guys that you would take this like very glamorous idea of like that's the peak of what you would want to do in our industry. But we always enjoyed more of the relationships that we had with the high school and the youth athletes and the impact that we had on them. So when we got down here, we knew that's kind of like what our bread and butter is. And we kind of went all in on that. So to answer your question, it's more of the youth athletes, the kind of be able to develop them and give them the professional like experience. Like when the youth athletes come in, even as young as we see like 5-year-olds, we
Mhm.
are able to provide them with like professional like services, and they feel like a professional athlete even though they're only 5, you know what I mean? And same thing with all through middle school, through high school, through college. So that's what our main objective is, and make everyone feel like a professional.
That's really cool, especially impacting the kids, getting them,
Yeah.
setting them up for success for their future careers too.
Yeah, and it's so fun. Like, one of my main things is like, the feeling that you get whenever you have like a high school baseball kid go through, tear his shoulder, where, in his head, he's never going to be able to go back to the way he once was. And then you're able to be that, that guidance of a person to rehab it back and get it back to the point of where it was better than what it was prior to the injury. And that kid to go get a scholarship and, give you a hug for all that hard work that he had to put in. It's like that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like that's the
Yeah,
thing. And like that's what makes it worth, the long hours, the long days, especially with, sports medicine. Like you're primarily functioning on when these kids are out of school. So you're looking at more of your biggest driver of clientele is between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m.
mm,
So you guys put in a lot of that time together, and it's a long development process. But when they give you that hug and that appreciation or that text or that call that they got a scholarship, that's it. That's the thing.
that's cool. That's got to be so rewarding.
It is. It is.
Very cool. So now, at your facilities, like how many would you say across all of what you're doing, how many employees do you currently have?
We have 6 different team members, and we're steadily expanding. We're in the market to try to find more. It just like with our niche of how we do things and some of the interests, it's hard to find, performance like therapists. But yeah, like currently we went from, like I said, just me and my business partner, and now we're still under 3 years. We'll be finishing our third year now, and we're up to 2 locations and 6 team members.
That's pretty epic. Yeah, especially like with that expansion. Now, you mentioned that, the challenge of finding recruiting, pretty much recruiting team. What are some of the things like I'd like to dive a little deeper there. What are some of the things that you're that are causing that challenge to happen?
It's just, I guess it's really just finding a good cultural fit. That's like the biggest thing. And it's, there even with a lot of people that are in the industry, it's not something that they kind of like love to grind for. You know, what I mean, you got to find very special people that can like communicate and be involved with these kids. And it's not just a like a regular like 9 to 5 by any means. So it's like finding the right person, the right fit is very difficult, and even like the skill set that's associated with it. I
Hmm.
guess that's the most difficult, but it comes together eventually. Like I've been blessed to find the teammates that I currently have, and they all kind of like in a way they've reached out to us and wanted to come out and meet us, so they kind of brought their talents to us. And then that's actually that's the process of every team member I've currently hired is that they came to me. I never went to them. You know what I mean? And like I've
Hmm.
had people, go through, submit, resumes, say they want this, say they want that, and not really have like a great follow-up plan with it. But it's every single one of those people who've came in is like, I want to come out, I want to hang out, and I want to get to know you. I'm like, come on, come out, see the place, let's talk. You know what I mean? It shows a different type of intention.
I so are you looking to expand, and how quickly do you want to make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, we plan on to keep expanding out through the West Austin area and a little bit more north. It's kind of finding like the right opportunity to do that. Obviously with real estate and stuff like that is very difficult out in the West Austin area, particularly. We have like a great reputation that's downtown. We have good partnerships, and we actually drive a lot of people from downtown to come out to the West Austin area that, it'll take them a good 45 minutes to an hour drive, and then they'll do treatment for an hour and they go back. So it's a good chunk of their day. So we do also plan on to expand more down into downtown area, and we're working on that. We have some partnerships that are kind of getting created right now, to kind of figure that part out. But we definitely plan on expanding to. The goal was always 5 clinics, 5 years. Very difficult to do. Hard to find the talent to do that. But we're on track to figure out potentially like around four in that time period as of now.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. And so, I kind of want to take it to back to where you are currently. I
Mhm.
love to share where businesses are challenged because as we know, being a business owner, it can be a lonely place. So I like to share to inspire other business owners to hear from other people going through challenges and how they're overcoming them. So I would say, what is a challenge you're currently faced with? I know you have a lot of things you mentioned here. Is there anything that really stands out as that you're currently pushing through, and how are you doing it?
I guess it's just the consistency with the relationship buildings within the community. That's
Mm,
always difficult because it's a lot of time that you're, putting forth, and it's a lot of your off time that you're not making like actual revenue.
mhm.
Um, for us, it's definitely the most important. Like I said, we're a community first driven business. So I would say like it's hard to be that person all the time for everyone. And
Mhm.
obviously you have your boundaries that you try to set. The hard part is that we love it, so it almost doesn't feel like work when we go through and do these extracurricular things for the community, set things up, be involved with this, be involved with that. So I guess that's a challenge, but I mean to overcome it, I just think that it's just the intention behind it. If the intention is, you're doing this purely for the investment into the community, it's so much easier to have the energy, the bandwidth to keep pushing in that direction rather than just thinking of it like a transactional type thing. You know what I mean?
Definitely. That actually leads perfectly into my next question, which is, it like what is your primary marketing? It sounds like a lot of, in person, you're getting out there showing, being the face of the company. Is that your primary, or are there other ways you're marketing?
I mean, I would say that's our primary. A lot of our stuff is kind of like dictated off of the experience that someone else has come in.
Okay.
So it's really like a self-referring, which has worked tremendous for us. And like I always try to describe it to my members is like any new person that does come in, and there's a spider web effect to it. So like when they come in and that person has the most excellent experience that they ever had compared to traditional, rehab, physical therapy, chiropractic, that one person becomes five new people after that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we put the service and the experience of the patients first, and that has expanded into the growth of the word of mouth like exponentially. And like we
Hmm.
do all the, like I said, the community stuff and going out there and putting a face to it. But it's like, at the same time, that's just doing that because we want to, but not with the intent of like, I'm gonna go out here and market the company. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
it's more of like supporting the people that we work with. I love to be involved with the youth football programs that are out here because we work with a ton of those kids. Go out there, support them, show them the face of all the hard work that they've been doing inside the building and see how it translates to their success like on the football field. And they appreciate that and it become more of like a community relationship with the business rather than it just being hey, I go to this one place to get this one thing done.
Oh, definitely. It sounds like strategic partnerships are also helping you
Yeah.
expand with, like you said, youth clubs and teams and things like that. So how do you organize all of these folks? Are you like using a CRM or how do you keep in touch with everyone?
I would say that's probably like our the bottleneck of our business. We really don't, you know what I mean? I mean we're active on all our socials and stuff, and keep up to date with it, but like even like the use case for us and our type of business, like doing like the CRMs, emails and newsletters and stuff like that, really don't do it. Which it's definitely something that we should really implement regularly, but it's not, I also feel like I don't want to bother the people that aren't looking. You know what I mean? Like they're going to talk to me or come to our business when they're ready and kind of not like, try to grab too much attention because everyone's attention is so important. And I know that's kind of like unorthodox, but at the same time, it seems to work for us as of right now. We have partnerships with orthos and stuff, and a lot of the orthos that we work with, they see the difference in their success for their clients when they get sent to us compared to traditional models. Usually we can get people back almost as twice as fast as traditionally they would get, and then the service and then the recommendations to get them to not just back to where they started after the surgery, but improve that ability. And it kind of like really created a really good relationships with a lot of the orthopedics that are in our area.
Oh, that's really great. And like I always think maybe there's a happy middle ground of so it takes the organizing off of your plate, but maybe not bombarding people with emails, but there's a way to maybe organize and structure so it saves you the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. I mean, this has been such a fun conversation just to learn about what you're doing and how you're bringing so much to the community here in the Texas area. So, now I'd like to dive into our fun rapid fire Q&A.
Yeah.
All right, so there's four questions and just answer very top of mind.
Yes, sir.
All right. Number one is what is a key to success for you?
Consistency.
Yes, number one in my book too.
Yeah, consistency.
So the second one is what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
The work is lonely, but it's worth it.
True, true. Number three is what is it could be a book, a podcast, an article, just anything that has resonated with you recently.
One of my favorite books that's ever been recommended to me that I've read is called The One Thing. It's helped change the way that I approach daily work activities and even goals.
Yes, that is a great book.
Oh,
That like
you read it?
I think yes, either that one or something very similar, but the same concept of just like hyper focus. Uh,
Yep.
get through, especially when you're in a growth season and you're like all over the place. You just like find that 20% and you're like zoom in on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the whole title might be like the one thing to achieve extraordinary results or something like that. And the main
Mhm.
principle is like your first 4 hours of your days is your hyper focus of what's the one thing that you can do now to make everything easier later down the road. So it's just a hyper focus on the single solution that fixes other solutions.
Definitely. I agree. It starts a ripple effect in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Question number four is if you could wave a magic wand and improve one aspect of your business overnight, what would it be?
That's a good question. Um, I guess I guess I would have to say it's our recruiting process. Just being able to have the pick of the litter of finding really good talent.
Yes, definitely. I think that's huge. Well, thank you for answering the rapid fires and let's help you get get the word out about your business now. How can people get connected with you and your business online?
We have our website, just helixsportsmed.com. Our Instagram, we kind of like use that as like our business card nowadays. And it has shows demonstrates a lot of the things that we do from a treatment standpoint, a training standpoint. But all of our IGs, everything's linked in through our Instagram account primarily.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jimmy, for our final question today. What is most inspiring to you today?
Uh, the kids, honestly. It's the kids and then being able to be a part of the journey.
That is so cool. That was such an inspiring conversation too. I just love what you're doing, what you're bringing to the community. So thank you so much for sharing your story with me.
Yeah, anytime.